So, gamers, here I am again making another one of these. However, it's a bit more positive with some negative because it's a Limb Legion video. It wouldn't be a Limb Legion video without negative. So, I've been meaning to make a video about the lead up to the CCU, Warmonger, and all this shit for, well, ever since it happened, but other people have basically already done it. And to be honest, I'm tired of talking about it because, like I said, everyone's already done it before me, so what's the point? General opinion, if you didn't know, I like CCU. It has problems. They are being slowly fixed, and by slowly I actually mean kind of quickly. But I don't understand why these things had to have been done in the first place, because we already had TG Week 2. I didn't play TG Week 2, I didn't play TG at all, but all of the people who did tell me it was great. And even Ubi admit they had like near universal feedback. So this leaves me with the question, why was it done at all? Why was it changed? What needed to really be changed? There were a few things that needed to be changed in TG, like feats were kind of still broken because they weren't changed at all. Revenge was basically the same amount despite damage being lower, which is a problem because then stalling is just huge. You know, you get all that stuff, which has been changed since, so that's good. Feats are also changed a bit. Some of them nerfed in ways I don't think they needed to be nerfed, but overall the main overperforming feats were nerfed, except for Fire Flask, of course. And we didn't really get many feat buffs, which is annoying because I was hoping we'd see them. Yeah. So what about the other changes that didn't need to happen? Why were lights nerfed? I just don't really understand it. Even though CCU 100% made attacking better, it didn't make attacking with lights better necessarily. They landed more often from like chain offense, which is good, but from neutral they're still reactable for the most part. So I don't know. It does mean that you can't always know the difference between a heavy or a light on startup, which is definitely good for making people want to attack, but I'm just still not sure, you know, why lights were hit so hard. But now that damage is coming down, thank God, it's actually kind of good. I don't have much to say about why I think damage should be lower. In a game where I've repeatedly encouraged people that making reads is very good and you should do it because this game is slowly sort of becoming a fighting game, making reads is the next step, logically. So, to make reads properly, you need fights to last long, and I've always agreed with this, and I've always understood and sympathized with when people say, but how can I make reads if I die in 3 moves? Like Highlander, for example, and so on. This is all perfectly valid, and I'm, like, glad that fights are now going to take a bit longer. Damage isn't exactly where I want it to be, mind you, but it's certainly way better than it was. There are some outliers that I would like to address, and this is basically just opinion for me. I think no heavy, like normal heavies, special, anything like that, I don't think any of these attacks should do over 30 damage. However, I do think there are some moves that should do over 30 damage, and the absolute max that should be is 35. That kind of damage should be reserved for things like Jormungandr's Hammer Slam, Sense Eagle's Talons, and obviously Shaman Bite. These things, I think, are perfectly within their right to do 35 damage because they're conditional and everything like that. I realize that some of them are just way easier to get than others, but I don't feel like they need to do less damage by any means. You could argue that that's still too much, which I would understand, but I think if we're going to have it so that damage should be lower. I think the big damage moves like that should still do more damage. Like, Eagle's Talon's doing the same amount as his unblockable is a little questionable, and still doing less than Shaman Bite, which is frame advantage, by the way, and other things like that. I think more attention needs to be put towards individual properties of moves, which a lot of people have said. Like, I think this is just stuff they should have thought about, but they obviously didn't. So I'm really not sure why. It's just kind of how it is, I guess. They didn't really do it. It's whatever. I don't really think I care too much. But in the end, we're better now. I love how the new stamina feels. Like, it's almost like how it used to be, minus all the shitty penalties, which is really nice. I can't say much other than I like it. I haven't played Berserker yet, who is my main, to feel the difference that Fainting into Lights makes, because I know the stamina cost is even lower on those due to them having a special case and things like that. But I don't know, it's just really nice. I don't feel like I'm running out of stamina all the time for pressuring people. If I run out of stamina now, it 100% feels like it's on me. But there is one problem. There were moves that still did stamina drain, and I understand why they would want to keep them to do that, because that is their sole purpose. However, why was JJ's choke not adjusted? The reason why JJ's choke was complained about en masse when it was discovered is because before, while it did an absurd amount of stamina drain, it didn't knock you down unless you were already OOS by the parry. Now, you go OOS from the choke and it will knock you down, and JJ has big damage punishes. One zone parry punish and you're out of stamina. That's not so good. Am I calling JJ overpowered? No. I'm calling a shit thing in his kit really retarded. There's certainly other ones, but they were adjusted, like Warlord's parry counter, or Valk's 80 stamina damage light finishers from the side, and so on and so forth. Those were adjusted. So either JJ's parry counter was not adjusted, or they just forgot to add it, and I'm not sure why they wouldn't do it, because this was behavior it didn't used to have. So that's a problem, and I hope it gets looked at. And generally, please God, because I don't like fighting JJ enough as it is, because he's just kind of a boring design. But can I not lose all my stamina immediately and then get punished every time I get parried? Thanks. That'd be nice. But yeah, ultimately, all I'm here to say is that I'm happy that we're getting faster adjustments, because it's kind of what I wanted. But I hope it stays that way. I hope this isn't a one-off thing. Because while I'm annoyed that, yeah, this didn't have to happen, so I'm glad, I guess, that they're doing it faster than they would otherwise. Because, let's face it, we could easily have been waiting till next year to get improvements to the CCU. My whole point is just, it didn't have to be made at all, so why? That's all. I just want to see more in the future, that's all. I want to see them actually adjust things. I want to see more feat adjustments. I want to see them actually fix some maps, because maps are fucking bad for the most part. There's like 6 good maps in the game, and good is very loosely used. So on and so forth. And I hope that future characters don't follow the same design philosophy as Warmonger, which, while I like Warmonger and I think Warmonger is very appealing, I don't like the reused assets part because, well, it's lazy. I don't personally care about her reused assets. I care if they would continue to use them in the future. Or the approach, rather. Because, well, let's put it this way. I don't want to see literally Orochi, but with Tozen's Kick and some other new things. Warmonger isn't quite that reductive, but it's still something I would rather not see much of in the future. I am cautiously optimistic. Let's put it that way. I would have probably said more, gone in depth, but right now I have a throat infection, so I can't really be bothered to talk in depth on things, just giving you some brief insight into how I feel, because I haven't made a video on this in a while. Anyway, enjoy the game, hopefully, and hopefully we can get more good stuff in the future. See you guys.
How do mushroom zombies die?
How do they die?
Yeah.
I would imagine they don't.